Oh, I had a boyfriend when I met Jack. I never thought blondes looked very healthy, to tell you the truth. I always thought they looked kind of sickly. And my boyfriend was Harvey Pollock from Ripley, and he had a big, deep dimple in his chin, and dark hair and brown eyes. So Jack had to do a little maneuvering in order to push him over, but he did. And I met him on a blind date, and that first weekend, or that first week, he came home and told his mother, I met the girl I'm going to marry. Now, how he knew, I don't know, because I had no intention at that point of marrying him. However, strange things happen. Persistence on his part, probably. That's probably what did. Then my time to buy my ring, he was working at Killarney Quarry. So he sent his sister Jean the money and said, Beth's fingers are about the same size, so get a ring that fits Beth for this amount of money and send it to Jean for her birthday, which was the 28th of May. And that was a year and a half after I met him. Oh, our wedding could have been a disaster for anybody else, but we didn't know any better. So we made it turn out as well as we could. And it was on March 1st, 1947. And it had stormed all winter. And March 1st was no exception, or the days preceding or following it. It snowed so much that the Highway 21 was closed. The little country church we were married in was inaccessible. So we had to change churches the night before the wedding. The church we changed to had a pipe organ, so the organist couldn't play a pipe organ, so we had to find an organist we had never met before, but she did a fine job. And there's always some humor. My father got halfway up the aisle and he had his, those days men wore galoshes over their shoes. He still had his galoshes on. Oh, cripes, he said. And he backed up all the way to the door to take his galoshes off, and then we proceeded up the aisle again. Meanwhile, on the way to the church, he had to change best men because his brother Don was in university in Kingston, and he got there about an hour or an hour and a half after the ceremony was over. So that was the beginning. Jack's mom and his younger brother Bert were in a hotel in Kincardine. They were still there 9 days later. They were storm stayed for 10 days. And Jack and I got over to Hanover, and Monday morning early we got the last train and left there for 10 days. So that was the beginning. And it didn't get a whole lot smoother from there on. On our 25th wedding anniversary, which was a surprise planned by our kids, and it was held at Harrison Park Inn. And Cheryl Hoover and Gord, my cousin and her husband from London, arrived 6 o'clock Saturday night at my door. And we were just going to have a roast beef dinner. So I couldn't very well not invite them in. And that was the first clue Jack had that anybody was coming. I did the roast beef dinner because it was our anniversary, you see. Actually, it wasn't. It was the day before. But that's when we celebrated, on the Saturday night. The next day, we woke up to snowstorm. 2 couples got out of town, one up to near Liskeard. The other couple, although they had an accident on the way down to the Orangeville area. And I had 15 for breakfast, 23 for lunch, 29 for dinner that day. That was my surprise. But we managed to get through it. And at 82 years old, here I sit. Alone, mind you, but here I sit.